My mom's new boyfriend is my old high school bully. Alright, so I'm 27, and my mom, she's 52, started dating again about a year after my dad passed. I totally support her moving on, and honestly, I was happy she was finally smiling again. I even encouraged her to try dating apps, though I did not expect her to actually follow through. A couple months ago, she mentioned she met someone named Rick. She described him as charming, old school, kind of rugged, and I thought, okay, cool. Whatever gets her out of the house and away from binging true crime until 3 a.m. Then she asked if I wanted to meet him over dinner. No big deal. So I show up at her place last weekend, and there he is. Rick. Slightly graying, leather jacket, 2 white teeth. The type of guy who calls every guy buddy and every woman darling. Something about him immediately put me on edge, but I couldn't figure out why. Then he made a comment. Like, literally within 5 minutes of meeting me, he says, "You've got that same smart aleck nerd look I had back in high school. You probably sat in the front row, huh?" And I swear, my stomach dropped. My brain was like flipping through a yearbook in fast forward. Westview High. Class of 2015. Rick Larson. The same guy who used to shove my books out of my hands. The guy who taped a kick me sign on my back during Spirit Week and told everyone I smelled like old soup. Yeah. That Rick. Except now he's sitting in my mom's kitchen, sipping wine and talking about going paddle boarding together this summer. And I'm just sitting there, trying not to visibly short-circuit. I didn't say anything in the moment, but I think he recognized me too, because he kept smirking at me like he knew I wasn't going to say a damn thing in front of my mom. Should I confront him? Should I tell her? Or am I just overreacting? So after dinner, I hung back while Mom went to get dessert. Rick and I were alone in the living room, and I asked casually, "Hey, did you go to Westview High? You look super familiar." He didn't miss a beat. Smiled wide and said, "Small world, huh? I thought you looked familiar too. You were, what, a couple years behind me?" "Nope. Same year. Same grade. Homeroom across the hall." I know he remembers. I played it cool and just nodded. He chuckled and added, "Guess we've all changed, huh? Life's funny like that." He said it like it was some kind of joke we were both in on. But it wasn't funny. It was surreal. I felt like I was trapped in a really messed up reunion episode of a reality show. The guy used to make my life hell. I wasn't unpopular, but I was quiet. Wore glasses. Loved books. Rick was one of those peak-in high school guys with a truck and a loud voice. He made being 15 way harder than it needed to be. I still have a tiny scar on my arm from when he accidentally tripped me into a locker. But he never really got in trouble, because he had this golden boy act with teachers and adults. So now he's dating my mom. And he's just sitting there, like it's totally normal. When she came back in, he immediately switched back to Mr. Perfect. Complimented her pie. Talked about how family is so important. I wanted to vomit. Before I left, I told my mom, I think I went to high school with Rick. She lit up. "Oh, that's nice. What a coincidence." I said, "Yeah. I think he kind of bullied me back then." She blinked, then laughed a little. "Oh honey, I'm sure he was just being a dumb teenage boy. He's such a sweetheart now." That stung more than I expected. So now I'm here, pacing my apartment, knowing that if I push this, she might get defensive or think I'm being dramatic. But if I stay silent, I'm letting this guy who made high school miserable just waltz into her life without consequences. Is it possible for someone like that to actually change? Or is he just playing a long game? It's only been a week since that dinner, but I'm already seeing the mask slip. After that night, I decided to try and give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he had changed. People grow up, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to be judged forever for who I was at 17. So I agreed to go to brunch with them this past Sunday. Just to see if I was overreacting. Big mistake. We're sitting at this cafe downtown, and Rick's telling some story about how he totally owned a customer at his car dealership. He sells used luxury cars, which tracks. He's laughing too loud, cursing in front of the waitress, just being that guy who thinks he's the funniest person alive. Then he turns to me and goes, "So what are you up to these days? Still into anime and calculus, or whatever?" And he winked. Like it was a callback to some inside joke. Except it wasn't a joke. It was what he used to say every day in 10th grade, in the hallway. "Yo, mathlete, you get laid yet, or are you still dating Sailor Moon?" I said, "Actually, I'm a UX designer now. And yeah, I still watch anime. You should try it sometime. Builds empathy." He laughed. Sure. I'll get right on that after I rewatch Pokemon and cry." Mom didn't say anything. Just gave a kind of polite smile, probably thinking we were bonding. But I wasn't smiling. I was staring at this dude who used to shove me into lockers and is now making the same damn jokes in front of my mother. Later, when she went to the bathroom, he leaned in a little and said, "Didn't think I'd run into you again, nerd." Small world. No smile this time. Just a look. Like he was enjoying himself. Like this was some long-running game I didn't know I was still playing. I asked, "Why are you dating my mom?" He shrugged. "She's hot. And she listens. You should try it sometime." I clenched my jaw so hard I thought I was going to crack a tooth. When Mom came back, I pretended everything was fine. I paid the bill and left early. She texted me later asking if everything was okay. I told her I had a headache. I don't know what to do. He's not outright abusive, at least not in a way that's easy to prove. But he knows exactly what he's doing. He's needling me. Testing me. Seeing how far he can push it without looking like the bad guy. And my mom? She's falling for it. Completely. Should I tell her what he said when she was gone? Would she even believe me? So after that brunch incident, I couldn't shake it. The way he looked at me, like he was daring me to say something. Like I was still the awkward kid in high school he could push around for fun. I spent 2 days debating whether to talk to my mom. I didn't want to come off as paranoid or jealous or like I was trying to sabotage her happiness. She deserves someone. But not him. So I invited her over for coffee. Casual. Just us. We were sitting in my kitchen, and she was rambling about how Rick took her to some antique car show and how he's so knowledgeable about engines, it's honestly sexy. I gagged internally. Then I said, as gently as I could, "Hey. I wanted to talk to you about Rick." She raised an eyebrow immediately. Oh. What's going on?" I told her everything. How he used to bully me in high school. How I recognized him right away. The names he used to call me. The way he shoved me into lockers, made fake dating profiles of me, stole my presentation once and replaced it with hentai as a prank. All of it. She blinked a few times, slowly set down her mug, and said, "Are you sure it was him?" I nodded. Positive. I confronted him. He remembers me. He even called me a nerd again when you were in the bathroom at brunch. She looked confused. A little defensive. He's never mentioned any of that. Maybe he doesn't remember it that way. I almost laughed. Mom, he does remember. He knows. He's messing with me on purpose. You didn't see how he was talking to me. She went quiet for a second, then said, "I get that high school was rough for you, but people change, honey. Maybe this is a chance to forgive and move on." That hurt more than I expected. I just said, he hasn't changed. He's just smarter about hiding it. She left not long after, saying she needed to think about it. I don't blame her, this is a lot to take in. But I could tell she didn't believe me. Or didn't want to. And the worst part? That night, Rick texted me. I didn't even know he had my number. It just said. That was cute. Mom says you're sensitive. You always were. No emojis. Nothing else. I haven't replied. I don't even know how to reply to something like that. This guy is playing some long game, and I'm stuck in it, alone. So after that message, I blocked his number. No hesitation. But that didn't stop the weirdness, it just changed shape. For a few days, I didn't hear from my mom. No texts. No check-ins. Not even her daily funny meme I don't fully understand but thought of you messages. Silence. That's not like her. I finally called, and when she answered, she sounded off. Like she was being careful. I asked if she was okay, and she said she was just taking some space because my accusations really shook her. Then she added, "Rick's been so patient through all this. He's not the monster you remember. You have to let go of that." I told her I wasn't making anything up. That the text he sent me was proof. She said, "What text?" And that's when I realized, he never told her. Of course he didn't. I offered to show her, but I'd already blocked him, and the message was gone. I didn't screenshot it, stupidly assuming I wouldn't need to. She sighed. "You're grown now. So is he. I want you two to get along." That was the last thing she said before she hung up. Fast forward to today. I found out, through my cousin, who works part-time at a local print shop, that Rick had photos printed for a vision board he's making with my mom. Cute, right? Except one of the pictures was of me. Me, at the cafe. A candid shot, taken from across the room. I never saw anyone with a camera. I didn't know it existed. Why is a photo of me part of his vision board? Why is he photographing me without my knowledge? When I asked my cousin if he knew what it was for, he just shrugged and said Rick made a joke about keeping an eye on the little guy. I feel sick. I haven't told my mom about the photo yet. I don't know if I should. I don't know what would even convince her at this point. She's deeper in than I thought. And he's not just gaslighting her, he's watching me now. This isn't just about high school anymore. This is something else. So I did something impulsive. Maybe even stupid. But I couldn't stop thinking about that photo. About how he had a picture of me, taken without my knowledge, printed out like some weird trophy. I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus, and I kept asking myself, what else does he have? So I drove to his place. It's technically his and my mom's now. She hasn't moved in officially, but she's been staying over a lot. It's this rental on the edge of town, one of those places with a big porch and a too-neat lawn, like it's trying to look wholesome. Like he's trying to look wholesome. I waited until I was sure she wasn't there, her car was gone, and I checked her location on Snapchat. Don't judge, she actually shares it with me. She was at the nail salon. Good. I rang the doorbell. No answer. Then I knocked. Still nothing. But the door was unlocked. Yeah, I know. I know. This is where the comments will say I crossed a line. But at that point, I needed answers. I wasn't planning to steal anything or trash the place. Just, look. The inside was weirdly bare. No photos, no personal touches. Just a couch, a giant flat screen, and one of those digital picture frames on the kitchen counter. I walked past it, and the screen changed from a beach photo to something else. A picture of my mom. Then one of me. From behind. Walking down the street. Then another of me, at the gas station. Different angle. Different day. I just stood there, staring at it like my brain couldn't catch up. Then I heard a noise upstairs. A thump. I froze. I didn't even breathe. I thought maybe it was a pet, or the HVAC system, or a creaky pipe. Then another thump. This time followed by a low, dragging sound. I backed out. Quietly. Didn't even close the door all the way. I got in my car and sat there with the engine running, heart pounding so loud I could barely think. Then Rick stepped out the front door. Not angry. Not surprised. Just standing there, arms crossed. He smiled. And gave me a thumbs up. I drove off. I haven't told my mom yet. She'd never believe me, not without proof. I don't even have the pictures, didn't think to record the screen. Rookie mistake. But something is deeply wrong with this man. It's not just bullying. It's not just mind games. He's watching me. And he wanted me to know. After that run-in at the house, I couldn't keep pretending this was something I could handle quietly. I'd already crossed lines, going into his house, blocking his number, confronting my mom. What was I waiting for? For him to show up at my apartment? For a trail cam photo of me eating cereal in my own kitchen? So I did the only thing I could think of. I went back. Not to his house, God no. I went to hers. My mom's. She wasn't answering my texts again, and her location was off this time. She turned off Snap Map. First time in years. But I knew she was home because her car was there and the living room light was on. I knocked. She opened the door looking tired, puffy eyes, no makeup, wearing the oversized hoodie she only wears when she's stressed. Rick wasn't there. I got lucky. I didn't waste time. I told her everything again, but this time, I showed her what I had. My cousin had sent me a copy of the print order from Rick's vision board photos. It included timestamps and order notes. One file name literally said, nerdwatch3.jpg. When she saw that, her face changed. Like something cracked a little. I told her about the picture frame at his house. About the dragging sound upstairs. About how Rick just smiled and gave me a thumbs up like this was all some game he was winning. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then she said quietly, "He told me you'd say stuff like this." That stopped me cold. "He said you're still holding on to high school stuff," she added. "That you're jealous. That you've always tried to control who I date." That hurt in a way I wasn't ready for. But then, she surprised me. She said, "But you've never lied to me before. And I can tell you're scared." That's when I broke down. I told her I didn't care if she dated someone rich, poor, weird, old, I just wanted her to be safe. And Rick? He wasn't safe. Not for her. Not for me. She didn't say she believed me. Not outright. But she didn't defend him this time either. She just said, "I need to think. I need to be alone tonight." I left. We hugged, but it felt different. Like she was floating somewhere far away. And here's the thing. I haven't heard from her since. That was 2 days ago. Her phone goes straight to voicemail. Location's still off. Cousin says she hasn't been in touch either. Her car's not at her place anymore. I don't know if she went back to Rick's or if something worse happened. I'm scared. Last night, just after midnight, someone knocked on my door. I was awake, of course I was awake. I'd been pacing my apartment for hours, phone in hand, debating whether to call the police and just report my mom missing. Her friends hadn't seen her. No replies to texts. Her apartment? Empty. So when I heard the knock, I froze. For a solid 5 seconds, I just stared at the door. Then a second knock. And a voice. "It's me. It's Mom." I opened the door so fast I nearly yanked it off the hinges. There she was, still in that same oversized hoodie, but she looked different. Shaken. Like she hadn't slept. Her eyes darted around the hallway before she came inside. And behind her was a woman I'd never seen before. She introduced herself as Marla. Said she was Rick's ex-fiancée. Yeah. Fiancé. Turns out, they were together for 3 years. She lived with him. She was supposed to marry him last fall, but she left him 6 weeks before the wedding. No explanation. Just vanished. Because, according to her, she was afraid. He'd started tracking her movements. Installed cameras in the house for security. Had files on her laptop she didn't remember creating, like copies of her text conversations, saved PDFs of her emails. He even had photos of her friends. And family. Including me. Yeah. That's how she found my mom. She recognized her from one of the photos. She spent weeks debating whether to say anything. Then she saw my mom in public with Rick. Happy. Laughing. She decided to speak up. She found my mom's address, drove there yesterday morning, and told her everything. My mom didn't want to believe her. Of course she didn't. But then Marla described things only someone inside the house could know. Mentioned the pictures. The vision boards. The way Rick never let her lock the bedroom door. The way he always knew exactly where she'd been. My mom packed a bag and left while Rick was out on a supply run. She didn't even grab her phone. Just ran. And now she was standing in my apartment, crying. Saying she was sorry. Saying she should have believed me sooner. Saying she felt stupid and scared and humiliated. We stayed up till 4 a.m. talking. She's staying with me now. Marla is too, for a few nights. She doesn't feel safe alone. I filed a police report about the stalking. We're talking to a lawyer. I don't know if anything will come of it, but it feels good to do something. As for Rick? He hasn't contacted either of us. Yet. But I've started locking my bedroom door at night. Not because I think he'll come back. But because I know he never really left.